My family used my penthouse for my sister's elite gala to impress tech moguls, mocking me as a failure, unaware I'd changed the locks and moved out, until their VIP guests arrived to a shocking surprise. I'll never forget the moment my world tilted. It was 2:17 a.m., the kind of hour where the city hums with secrets, and the glow of my laptop screen was the only light in my Belltown penthouse. My name's Claire Donovan. I'm 34, and I built my life, brick by bloody brick, to afford this place, a sanctuary of glass and steel perched above Seattle's restless streets. 3 years ago, this penthouse was a crumbling relic, but I saw its bones, its potential, and I poured my soul into making it mine. Tonight, though, that sanctuary felt like a trap. My phone buzzed, slicing through the silence. A security alert from my custom app, the one I coded to protect this place like a digital fortress. I tapped the notification, expecting a glitch or maybe a raccoon tripping the rooftop sensors again. Instead, my heart stopped. Live feed from my deck camera showed a drone, sleek, black, and unmistakably professional, hovering 20 feet above my rooftop, its red light blinking like a predator's eye. My fingers flew across the keyboard, pulling up diagnostics. This wasn't some kid's toy. It was broadcasting encrypted data to an off-site server. Someone was spying on my home. I'm a cybersecurity consultant, so I know a threat when I see one. My firm Donovan Security keeps tech startups safe from hackers and corporate espionage, but this felt personal. I traced the signal, sloppy work, whoever they were, and it led to a private investigator in Tacoma with a rap sheet for shady surveillance gigs. My gut churned as I cross-referenced his client list. One name stood out. Eleanor Caldwell. My sister, the sister who married into Silicon Valley wealth, who calls my life cute while sipping champagne on her husband's yacht? The sister who, apparently, was now sending drones to scope out my penthouse. Let me back up. Growing up in a middle-class suburb of Olympia, I was always the other Donovan kid. My parents, Richard and Linda, had a clear favorite, Eleanor, the golden girl who could charm anyone with a smile. She was homecoming queen, the one who married up at 24 to Nathan Caldwell, a venture capitalist with a mansion in Palo Alto. Me? I was the awkward one, the kid who'd rather code in the basement than cheer at a football game. "Claire, you're wasting your potential," Mom would sigh, her eyes flicking to Eleanor's engagement photos. "Why can't you be more like your sister?" Dad was blunter. "All that computer stuff won't get you a husband or a real life." I didn't want their version of a real life. I wanted independence, something I could build with my own hands. After college, I moved to a roach-infested studio in Tacoma, juggling 2 jobs, coding for a startup by day, slinging drinks at a dive bar by night. 80-hour weeks were my norm, my 20s a blur of Red Bull and ramen. Every dollar I didn't spend on rent or bills went into savings, because I had a dream, a place of my own where no one could tell me who to be. That dream became reality 3 years ago when I was 31. I found a penthouse in Belltown, a fixer-upper with cracked walls and a leaking roof, but it had floor-to-ceiling windows and a rooftop deck that caught the Puget Sound's silver shimmer at dawn. The realtor warned me it was a money pit, but I negotiated the price down and signed the papers with a hand that wouldn't stop shaking. This was mine, proof I didn't need a rich husband or my parents' approval to make it. Renovating that penthouse was my obsession. I spent 3 years gutting it, learning to wield a sledgehammer and hiring contractors only when I had to. I coded a smart home system from scratch, biometric locks, motion sensors, cameras that could spot a squirrel at 50 yards. The result was a 4-bedroom masterpiece with a sleek kitchen, a rooftop deck perfect for stargazing, and an office where I ran Donovan Security. My Instagram, where I posted snippets of my secure system designs, went viral among Seattle's tech crowd, turning my firm into a go-to for startups. I was finally someone, not just Eleanor's weird sister. But my family, they didn't see it. At my housewarming last year, Dad wandered through, tapping walls like he was checking for termites. "Hope this place doesn't tank your savings, Claire," he muttered. Mom barely looked up from her phone, texting Eleanor about some charity gala. Eleanor showed up 2 hours late, her husband Nathan trailing behind, and handed me a gift, a dollar store USB drive wrapped in tissue paper. "Cute place," she said, her smile sharp as a blade. "Cozy for a single gal." I swallowed the hurt, poured them wine, and kept the peace, like always. I kept that peace through every family dinner, every holiday I hosted in my penthouse, every one of Eleanor's over-the-top yacht parties in San Francisco, where I'd stand awkwardly in borrowed heels while Mom bragged about Eleanor's important connections. I did it because I thought that's what family meant, sucking it up, being the bigger person. But that night, staring at the drone footage, I realized I'd been wrong. Family wasn't supposed to betray you. I didn't sleep after the drone incident. By dawn, I was wired on coffee, digging into the PI's files. His invoices confirmed Eleanor hired him to survey a Seattle property for an event. An event? At my place? I scoured her LinkedIn, and there it was, a glossy digital invitation for an evening at the Donovan estate, promising exclusive access to a premier Seattle penthouse for tech titans and venture capitalists. The background image was my rooftop deck, snapped during a rare sunny day when the hydrangeas I'd planted were in full bloom. My hands shook as I read the caption. "Join Eleanor and Nathan Caldwell at our family's historic property for a night of innovation and investment." Historic property? The only Donovan estate was my penthouse, the one I'd paid for with 15 years of sweat and sacrifice. Eleanor hadn't even called to ask. I dialed her number, my pulse hammering. She picked up on the 5th ring, her voice dripping with irritation. "Claire, it's 6 a.m. What's wrong with you?" "What's wrong with me?" I snapped. "Why is there an invitation with my penthouse on it, Eleanor, for a gala you didn't tell me about?" "Oh, that," she said, like I'd caught her borrowing a sweater. "It's a networking thing for Nathan's investors, super important. Mom and Dad said it was fine." "Mom and Dad don't own my house," I said, my voice rising. "I do. You can't just—" "God, Claire, don't be so dramatic," she cut me off. "It's one night. You don't even use that rooftop half the time. Besides, the caterers are coming tomorrow to check the space. I gave them the spare key Mom had." I froze. "You gave strangers my keys?" "They're professionals," she said, like I was being unreasonable. "Look, I'm busy. We'll talk at Sunday dinner," she hung up. I stared at my phone, disbelief giving way to fury. My parents had a spare key for emergencies, not to hand out like party favors. I called them next, hoping Eleanor was lying. She wasn't. "Claire, don't be selfish," Mom scolded. "Eleanor needs this for Nathan's business. Their place is under construction, and your penthouse is perfect. It's just one night." "It's my home," I said, my voice shaking. "You can't volunteer it without asking me." "It's good for the family," Dad chimed in, his tone final. "You're always so isolated with that computer nonsense. This'll put you on the map." I hung up, my chest tight. Isolated? I'd built a cybersecurity firm from nothing, just landed a contract to secure a major tech company's servers, my biggest deal yet, and they called it nonsense. Worse, they thought my home was theirs to use, like I was some kid playing house, not a woman who'd earned every square foot. That's when the second alert hit. My security app pinged, this time flagging motion at my building's entrance. I pulled up the feed and saw a black van parked across the street, its tinted windows hiding whoever was inside. A man in a hoodie stepped out, fiddling with a laptop, his face obscured. My system detected a brute force attack on my penthouse's Wi-Fi. a hacker trying to crack my locks. I slammed my laptop shut, activated my failover protocols, and watched as my system locked them out. But then a piercing wail echoed through the building, the fire alarm. My phone lit up with a text from my building manager. "Evacuate immediately." I grabbed my laptop and bolted downstairs, joining a stream of groggy neighbors in pajamas. Outside, the van was gone, but the fire department was already swarming. "False alarm," a firefighter told me later, but I knew better. That van wasn't random. Someone, likely tied to Eleanor's gala, wanted me out of my penthouse, maybe to get inside. My hands clenched. This wasn't just a party, it was an invasion. Back in my penthouse, I found an email from Elite Events by Sophia, outlining the gala's itinerary. My stomach dropped as I read, "Guests will enjoy tours of the Penthouse's private office, showcasing cutting-edge tech design." My office held servers with sensitive client data, trade secrets, financials, unreleased product specs. If strangers got in there, I could lose everything. My firm, my reputation, my livelihood. Eleanor wasn't just borrowing my space. She was risking my entire career. I sank onto my couch, the city's skyline glittering mockingly through my windows. My family had always dismissed me, my coding obsession, my tiny apartment, my refusal to marry rich like Eleanor. But this was a new low. They saw my penthouse as a prop for Eleanor's social climb, my life as collateral damage. I thought of every late night I'd spent coding, every holiday I'd hosted to keep them happy, every time I'd bitten my tongue when Mom compared me to Eleanor's perfect life. Enough was enough. Then my phone buzzed again, a group text from Eleanor to her friend Chloe, accidentally including me. "Claire's being a pain about the gala," Eleanor wrote. "Thinks her pathetic tech shack is Fort Knox. She should be grateful we're bringing real players to her sad little life." Chloe replied, "Hello? Does she even have a life? Nathan says she's just jealous of you." I stared at the words, each one a dagger. Pathetic tech shack, sad little life. Jealous. My penthouse, my pride, reduced to a punchline. My firm, my passion, dismissed as a hobby. Something inside me snapped, not with tears, but with a cold, burning resolve. I wasn't their doormat anymore. They wanted to play dirty, fine. I'd show them what a cybersecurity expert could do. I called my best friend, Ava, who answered despite the hour. "They did what?" she gasped after I spilled everything. The drone, the van, the gala, the texts. "Claire, that's not just rude, it's dangerous. You need to lock this down now." "I know," I said, my voice steady for the first time in hours. "I'm done playing nice." Ava didn't hesitate. "Come to my condo. We'll figure this out. And call Ethan. He'll know your legal options." Ethan, our lawyer friend from college, was my next call. His voice was groggy but sharp as I explained the situation. "Claire, this is cut and dry," he said. "It's your property. No one, not your sister, not your parents, can use it without consent. Giving out keys, that's trespassing. The drone and hacking attempt, that's illegal surveillance and cybercrime. You could press charges." "I don't want to go nuclear yet," I said, though the idea was tempting, "but I need to stop this gala." "Then secure your place," Ethan advised. "Change the locks, move anything sensitive, and document everything. If they push back, you've got legal standing to shut them down." By sunrise, I had a plan. First, I called Javier, the best locksmith in Seattle, who promised to install new biometric locks by tomorrow. Next, I rented a secure vault to store my servers, client files, and personal keepsakes. My grandmother's emerald ring, my first coding notebook, photos from the day I signed the Penthouse deed. I wasn't just protecting my stuff. I was protecting my life. But then, another curveball. My biggest client, a tech firm called Nexus Innovations, emailed me. "We've detected an unauthorized access attempt on our servers. Meeting tomorrow 9 a.m. sharp. Prove this isn't tied to your firm's instability. My heart sank. The hacking attempt on my penthouse wasn't isolated. Someone was targeting my business too. I traced the breach to a dark web server, the same kind used by the Vans hacker. Was Eleanor's Gala a cover for something bigger? Corporate espionage, maybe, using my penthouse as a staging ground? I worked through the night, patching Nexus's servers and reinforcing my own. By morning, I was exhausted but ready to fight. Mavier arrived with his team, swapping out my locks for a system that required my fingerprint or a one-time code I controlled. "Nobody's getting in without you," he said, his eyes kind but serious. "Family drama, huh? Been there." "You have no idea," I muttered, handing him a generous tip for the rush job. Ava showed up next, coffee in hand, with our friends Nora and Liam in tow. "Operation Lockout is a go," Nora said, saluting me with her latte. We spent the day packing servers into padded cases, files into locked boxes, my jewelry and mementos into a duffel. Liam hauled it all to the vault, while Ava helped me inventory every item in my penthouse. "Just in case they try something stupid," she said, snapping photos of my office. Midway through, my phone pinged with another security alert. This time, it was my front door. The camera showed a woman in a blazer, probably the event planner, trying the old key, her face pinched with confusion. She made a call, and 20 minutes later, Eleanor appeared, flawless in a cream blazer but visibly stressed. She jabbed at the doorbell, then tried her key, cursing when it didn't work. My blocked phone lit up with unknown numbers. Eleanor no doubt using burner apps to reach me. I ignored them all. Then, a new email hit my inbox, this one from an anonymous address. "Allow the gala or your client list goes public." Attached was a screenshot of my Nexus contract, marked confidential. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just Eleanor's social stunt. Someone was playing hardball, threatening my firm's existence. I traced the email to a burner account, but the metadata hinted at a Silicon Valley IPN, Nathan's territory. Was he behind this, protecting his investors by targeting me? I forwarded the email to Ethan, who replied instantly. "This is blackmail. Save everything. We're building a case." I nodded at my screen, my resolve hardening. Whoever was behind this, Eleanor, Nathan, or some shady gala guest, they'd underestimated me. That evening, as I settled into Ava's condo, my phone buzzed with a voicemail from Mom, left on my work line. "Claire Marie Donovan," she said, her voice trembling with rage. "This is unacceptable. You changed the locks? You're embarrassing your sister, your family. Nathan's investors are coming tomorrow, 40 important people expecting a world-class event. You will fix this or you're no daughter of mine." I deleted it, but her words lingered. No daughter of hers? Fine. I'd been on my own since I was 22, building a life they couldn't touch. But the pressure was mounting. Nexus's meeting loomed, the blackmail thread hung over me, and rumors were spreading. My rival, a firm called Cyber Shield, was whispering to clients that Donovan's security was unstable. I overheard a barista at my usual coffee shop gossiping about some tech chick's family feud going viral on X. My life was unraveling, and the gala hadn't even happened yet. Ava found me staring out her window, Seattle's skyline mocking me with its calm. "You okay?" she asked, handing me a glass of wine. "No," I admitted. "This is bigger than a party. Someone's trying to take me down. My business, my home, everything." "Then fight back," she said fiercely. "You're Claire frickin' Donovan. You built a fortress, literal and digital. They don't get to win." I clinked my glass against hers, a spark of defiance reigniting. Tomorrow was the gala, and I'd be watching from Ava's condo, my security app open, ready to protect what was mine. Eleanor thought she could waltz into my life and take what I'd built? She was about to learn how wrong she was. The morning of the gala dawned crisp and clear, the kind of Seattle day that makes you forget the rain. I woke early, nerves jangling, and set up my laptop in Ava's living room, the security feeds tiled across the screen. Ava brought coffee, settling beside me. "Showtime," she said, her eyes glinting with anticipation. At 9:03 a.m., the first vendor arrived. A catering van unloading trays of hors d'oeuvres. 2 men in white uniforms rang my doorbell, waited, then called someone, looking baffled. They stayed parked, joined soon by a florist truck with massive arrangements, then a rental company dropping off tables and chairs. By 10 o'clock, my street was a circus, vendors milling around, unable to get in. I almost felt bad for them. Almost. At 10:28, Eleanor's Tesla screeched up, followed by my parents' Audi. Eleanor stormed to my door, her sundress pristine but her face a mask of fury. She hammered the doorbell, then tried her key, swearing when it failed. Mom hurried behind her, Dad trailing with a scowl. "Claire!" Eleanor shouted, her voice caught by the camera's mic. "Open this door right now!" "Told you she'd lose it," Ava said, sipping her coffee. Dad pounded next, his voice booming. "Claire, we know you're in there. Stop this nonsense." The event planner, a nervous woman in a pantsuit, approached. "Mrs. Caldwell, we need to set up. Guests arrive in 3 hours. Eleanor forced a smile. "Just a misunderstanding. Give us a moment." She pulled out her phone, and mine rang. I let it go to voicemail, then played it on speaker. "Claire, where are you?" Eleanor hissed. "This isn't funny. People are waiting. Nathan's career is on the line." I couldn't resist. I answered the next call, keeping my voice ice cold. "Hello, Eleanor." "Claire, what the hell? Why's the door locked? Where are you?" "Not home," I said. "And I won't be. I told you I didn't agree to this. Find another venue." Mom's voice cut in. She'd put me on speaker. "Claire Marie, you come home this instant. This is humiliating." "Humiliating?" I shot back. "Try finding out your family's using your house without permission. Try waking up to a drone spying on you or hackers trying to break in. That's humiliating." "What are you talking about?" Dad barked. "You're being paranoid." "Am I?" I said. "Check the van that triggered the fire alarm. Or the PI you hired, Eleanor. I've got proof." Silence. Then Eleanor quieter. "How did you—" "I'm a cybersecurity expert," I said. "You thought you could outsmart me in my own home." Mom tried again, her voice softer. "Claire, please. We can talk later. Just open the door. People are coming." "Not my people," I said. "Not my party. You ignored me, so deal with it." Dad's voice turned hard. "We'll call a locksmith." "Go ahead," I said. "It's a biometric system. They won't crack it without proof of ownership, my proof, and if anyone tries to break in, the police get an auto alert." "You'd call the cops on us?" Mom gasped. "I won't have to," I said. "The system will. Or you could respect my no and find a new venue. 3 hours. Good luck." I hung up, my hands trembling but my heart steady. Ava high-fived me. "You slayed. Did you see Eleanor's face?" I grinned, but it faded as I watched the feeds. My family huddled on my doorstep, arguing. Eleanor was on her phone, probably scrambling for a backup plan. Then, at 11:45, the first guests arrived, men in tailored suits, women in designer dresses, looking confused at the chaos. By noon, a sleek black SUV pulled up, and out stepped the Carltons, tech moguls whose investments could make or break Nathan's firm. Eleanor rushed to them, her smile brittle, Nathan joining her in a frantic explanation. The drama peaked at 1:15 when a guest, a wiry man in a gray suit, slipped to the side of my building pulling out a lockpick kit. My system blared an alert, and within minutes a police cruiser rolled up. The man bolted, but the damage was done. Guests scattered, some climbing back into their cars, others snapping photos for X. Eleanor sank onto my steps, her mascara streaking, while Nathan argued with the Carltons, their faces stone cold. By 2:30 it was over. The vendors packed up, the guests were gone, and my family sat in a defeated circle on my lawn. I almost felt sorry for them, until my phone buzzed with a text from Nathan. "Claire, I didn't know Eleanor used your place without permission. I'm sorry. Can we talk?" It was the first apology I'd gotten, and it came from the least likely source. I showed Ava. "Think he's for real?" she asked. "Maybe," I said, "but I'm not ready to trust anyone yet." We closed the laptop and headed for dinner, my mind spinning. I'd won this round, but the war wasn't over. The blackmail email, the Nexus breach, the rumors. Someone was still out there gunning for me. As we stepped into the cool Seattle evening, I felt a strange mix of fear and power. For the first time in my life, I'd stood up to my family, and it felt good. Whatever came next, I was ready to fight for what was mine. What would you do if your family betrayed you like this? Drop your thoughts below and let me know where you're reading from. If you've ever had to draw a hard line to protect your space, hit that like button. Subscribe for the rest of my story. Trust me, it's only getting wilder. Thanks for being here, and remember, your home, your rules. The Seattle skyline glittered beyond Ava's condo windows, a mocking reminder of the penthouse I'd fought so hard to make mine. It was 9 p.m. the night of Eleanor's failed gala, and I was sprawled on Ava's couch, my laptop open to my security feeds, watching the last of the vendors' vans peel away from my Belltown street. My sister, Eleanor, sat defeated on my front steps, her mascara-streaked face caught on the harsh glow of my doorbell. My parents, Richard and Linda, stood nearby, their expressions a mix of fury and humiliation. I should have felt triumphant. My plan to lock them out had worked, but instead, a hollow ache settled in my chest. This wasn't just about a party anymore. It was about my family's betrayal, a shadowy threat to my business, and a fight for the life I'd built from nothing. My phone buzzed, snapping me out of my thoughts. A text from Nathan, Eleanor's husband. "Claire, I'm sorry. I didn't know she used your place without permission. Can we talk?" I stared at it, my thumb hovering over the reply button. Nathan had always been a peripheral figure, polite but distant, more interested in his venture capital deals than family drama. His apology felt genuine, but I wasn't ready to trust anyone with the last name Caldwell. Not after the drone, the hackers, and that chilling blackmail email threatening to leak my client list. "Answer him later," Ava said, plopping down beside me with a bowl of popcorn. "You've already won round one. Let them stew." I managed a weak smile. "Round one feels more like I've started a war." "A war you're winning," she said, tossing a kernel at me. "You stood up to them, Claire. That's huge." But the victory felt fragile. My phone pinged again. Not Nathan this time, but an email from Nexus Innovations, my biggest client. "Claire, we need you at an emergency meeting tomorrow, 8 a.m. We've traced a second breach attempt to your firm's IP range. Address this, or we're pulling the contract." My stomach dropped. A second breach? I'd patched the first one last night, burning through 2 pots of coffee to secure Nexus's servers after that suspicious van tried to crack my penthouse's Wi-Fi. But this was targeted, and the timing, hours after Eleanor's gala imploded, felt too convenient. I opened my security app, pulling up logs from my firm's servers. There it was, a sophisticated attack at 3:14 p.m., right when Eleanor was banging on my door. The hacker had used a spoofed IP tied to my network, making it look like the breach came from me, but I recognized the signature. A rare encryption algorithm I'd seen once before, in a dark web forum linked to a Silicon Valley fixer known as the Ghost. Whoever this was, they weren't just after my penthouse. They wanted Donovan's security, my life's work, in ruins. "Claire, you okay?" Ava asked, catching the color drain from my face. "Someone's coming for me," I whispered, showing her the logs. "This isn't just Eleanor's stupid gala. Someone's using it as a cover to hit my business." Ava's eyes widened. "You think Nathan's involved? Or those tech moguls she invited?" "I don't know," I admitted, "but I'm not waiting to find out." I called Ethan, my lawyer friend, and filled him in. His voice was grim. "Claire, this is corporate sabotage. The drone, the van, the blackmail email, now this? You need to lock down your systems and your life. I'm sending you a contact for a private investigator, someone discreet who can dig into this ghost character." By midnight, I was on the phone with Mia Torres, a PI with a reputation for cracking cases the cops couldn't touch. "Send me everything," she said, her voice clipped and professional. "Drone footage, server logs, that blackmail email. I'll start tracing the money trail. But Claire, watch your back. If this is tied to Silicon Valley, you're playing with sharks." I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I fortified my digital defenses, rewriting code to isolate my firm's servers and setting up a honeypot to trap the next attack. By dawn, I was a jittery mess, running on adrenaline and fear. Ava drove me to Nexus's downtown office, her hand squeezing mine as we pulled up. "You've got this," she said. "Show them why you're the best." The Nexus meeting was brutal. Their CEO, a steely-eyed woman named Rachel Kim, didn't mince words. "Claire, your firm's been rock solid, but these breaches are a problem. We can't afford leaks, not with our IPO coming. Convince me this isn't your fault, or we're done." I laid out the evidence, the spoofed IP, the encryption signature, the timing tied to my sister's gala. "Someone's targeting me personally," I said, my voice steady despite the stakes. "I've already contained the breach and added layers of protection. Give me 48 hours to find the source and I'll deliver." Rachel studied me, then nodded. 48 hours, don't let me down. As I left, my phone buzzed with a new alert. My penthouse cameras had caught movement, not at the front door, but in the alley behind my building. The feed showed a man in a black hoodie tampering with my power box, trying to cut the electricity to my security system. My heart raced as I remotely triggered a silent alarm alerting the police. By the time they arrived, the man was gone, but he'd left behind a calling card, a USB drive taped to the box, labeled "Open Me." I didn't touch it. Instead, I called Mia, who met me at Ava's condo with a forensic kit. She plugged the drive into an air-gapped laptop, revealing a single file, a video of me filmed through my penthouse windows, working late at my desk. A distorted voiceover said, "Back off, Claire, or your clients see this, and worse." The screen flickered, showing a list of my top 5 clients, their confidential contracts highlighted. "This is escalating," Mia said, her jaw tight. "Whoever's behind this has resources. Money, tech, connections. I found a payment from a shell company to the PI who flew that drone. The trail leads to Palo Alto, near Nathan's firm." "Nathan?" I said, my voice barely a whisper. "You think he's orchestrating this?" "Or someone close to him," Mia replied. "I need more time, but Claire, don't go back to your penthouse. It's not safe." I nodded, but the weight of it all, Eleanor's betrayal, the breaches, the video, felt like a noose tightening. I moved my essentials to Ava's guest room, a cozy space with a view of Elliott Bay, but it couldn't replace the sanctuary I'd lost. That afternoon, another blow. CyberShield, my rival firm, posted a cryptic X thread hinting at instability at Donovan's security lapses. My phone lit up with texts from smaller clients, asking if the rumors were true. I spent hours drafting reassurances, but the damage was done. My reputation was bleeding. Then came the tabloid. A reporter from Seattle Gossip emailed me, claiming to have photos of Eleanor's Gala fiasco, with a headline ready to go: Tech stars family feud locks out elite guests. They wanted a quote by midnight or they'd run the story, painting me as the villain. I forwarded it to Ethan, who advised stonewalling. "Don't engage," he said. "They're fishing for drama. Focus on the real threat." That night, Ava gathered our friends Nora and Liam for a strategy session. We dubbed it Operation Lockout, a nod to my Penthouse stunt, but the mood was grim. Nora, a graphic designer with a knack for research, dug into the shell company Mia mentioned. "It's linked to a VC fund Nathan advises," she said, showing me a web of transactions. "But there's another name. Victor Carlton." My blood ran cold. Victor Carlton was one of the tech moguls at Eleanor's Gala, a billionaire with a reputation for ruthless acquisitions. Had Eleanor's networking event been a front for Carlton to get inside my penthouse, maybe to steal my client data? I shared my theory with Mia, who promised to dig deeper. The next morning my phone rang, an unknown number. I answered, expecting another vendor or reporter. Instead, it was Eleanor, her voice shaking. "Claire, you've ruined everything. The Carltons are furious. Nathan's investors are pulling out, and I'm a laughingstock. Why are you doing this?" "Well, am I doing this?" I snapped, my anger flaring. "You used my home without asking, gave strangers my keys, and mocked my life in texts you didn't mean to send, and now someone's hacking my servers, threatening my clients. Is that you, Eleanor, or Nathan, or your buddy Victor Carlton?" She went silent, then whispered, "What are you talking about? Hacking? Victor?" "Don't play dumb," I said. "I know about the drone, the van, the blackmail. If you're not behind it, who is?" I don't know," she stammered. "Claire, I swear, I just wanted to use your place for the gala. I didn't." I hung up, her words ringing hollow, but doubt crept in. Was Eleanor really clueless, or was she covering for someone? I texted Mia. "Check Eleanor's call logs, see if she's lying." Hours later, another crisis. Nexus called again, their tone icy. "Claire, we've intercepted another attack, same signature. We're giving you until tomorrow to explain or we're gone." I dove back into my code, tracing the attack to a server in Singapore, but it was a dead end. Another spoof. My hands shook as I worked, the pressure crushing. If I lost Nexus, my firm would tank, and CyberShield would swoop in like vultures. Then call it a knock at Ava's door. I checked her peephole, expecting a delivery, but it was Nathan, alone, his face drawn. "Claire, I need to talk." "Please." Against my better judgment, I let him in. Ava stood nearby, arms crossed, ready to throw him out if needed. Nathan sat, looking smaller than the polished VC I knew. "I didn't know Eleanor planned the gala without your permission," he said. "She told me your parents approved it, that you were on board. I found out the truth when it all fell apart." "Where should I believe you?" I asked, my voice sharp. "Someone's targeting my firm, drone, hackers, blackmail, your world, Nathan." He flinched. "I know how it looks, but I'm not involved. I think it's Victor Carlton. He's been pushing me to invest in CyberShield, saying they're the future, not small firms like yours. When Eleanor mentioned using your penthouse, he was too interested. Asked about your security, your clients." My pulse quickened. "And you didn't think to warn me?" "I didn't know until yesterday," he said, running a hand through his hair. "Claire, Eleanor's a mess. She's jealous of you, your firm, your independence. She admitted it to me last night. She's been trying to prove herself, using my connections because she feels like she has nothing of her own. Jealous of me? I laughed bitterly. She's the golden child. You're telling me she envies my pathetic tech shack? Nathan nodded. She sees you as the one who did it all without help. It eats at her, but this, he gestured vaguely. This is bigger than her. I think Carlton used her Gala to get to you. I studied him, searching for a lie, but his eyes held only regret. If you're telling the truth, help me prove it, I said. Get me something on Carlton. He hesitated, then nodded. I'll try. But Claire, be careful. Victor doesn't play nice. After he left, I found an envelope slipped under Ava's door. Inside was a handwritten letter from Eleanor, ink smudged with what looked like tears. Claire, I'm sorry. I was wrong to use your home, to dismiss your life. I've always admired you, but I was too proud to admit it. I'm not behind the hacking or threats, I swear. Please, let's talk. It felt sincere, but I wasn't ready to forgive, not yet. The next day, Mia called with a breakthrough. The shell company funding the drone and hackers? It's tied to Carlton's VC fund, but he's covered his tracks well. I found one weak link, a burner phone he used to contact the PI. I'm working on cracking it. Keep going, I said, my mind racing. If Carlton was behind this, he wasn't just after my clients. He wanted to bury me to boost Cyber Shield, but why? Was my firm a threat to his empire, or was there something personal? That evening, another shock. Seattle Gossip published their story, with grainy photos of Eleanor on my steps, captioned, Tech star's sister sabotages elite gala. The article painted me as a vengeful loner, quoting an anonymous source close to Nathan. My phone exploded with texts from clients, colleagues, even my old college roommate, asking if I'd lost it. I wanted to scream, but I drafted a calm statement for my firm's X account, denying the drama and promising stability. Then, at 2 a.m., my security app blared again. The feed showed a figure in a ski mask outside my penthouse, spraying paint over my cameras. I called the police, but they found only a can of paint and a note, last warning. My hands shook as I forwarded the footage to Mia. This wasn't just corporate games anymore. It was personal, and it was terrifying. Ava, Nora, and Liam rallied around me the next morning, bringing coffee and determination. We're not letting this creep win, Liam said, cracking his knuckles. Nora pulled up a dossier she'd compiled on Carlton, revealing his history of bullying smaller firms into selling. He's done this before, she said. Tanks their rep, then buys them cheap. I nodded, piecing it together. Carlton wanted Donovan's security gone, and my family's gala was his way in. But Eleanor's letter nagged at me. Was she a pawn or a player? I unblocked her number and texted, Meet me tomorrow, neutral ground, no parents, just us. The meeting was set for a quiet cafe in Capitol Hill. Eleanor arrived alone, her usual polish gone, hair in a messy bun, eyes red. Claire, she started, her voice breaking. I didn't know about the drone or the hackers, I swear. I just wanted to impress Nathan's investors, to feel like I mattered. You used my home, I said, my voice cold. You mocked my life, and now someone's trying to destroy me. I know, she whispered, tears falling. I was jealous. You built something real, your firm, your penthouse. I've got nothing but Nathan's money and Mom's approval. I thought using your place would make me look successful, but I screwed up. I studied her, torn between anger and pity. Who else knew about the gala? Who pushed you to use my place? She hesitated. Victor Carlton. He suggested it, said your penthouse was perfect for his investors. I Didn't Victor, I cut her off, my suspicion confirmed. Did he ask about my security, my clients? She nodded slowly. He was curious. Asked if your office had sensitive data. I thought he was just making conversation. I leaned back, my mind racing. Eleanor might be telling the truth, but she'd still opened the door to this mess. I need your help, I said. Get me into Nathan's office. I want his emails, his call logs, anything tying him to Carlton. She paled, but nodded. Okay, I'll do it. For you. The next 24 hours were a whirlwind. Eleanor snuck me into Nathan's Palo Alto office during a late-night maintenance window I hacked for access. We found emails between Nathan and Carlton, vague but damning, discussing neutralizing competition and leveraging the Gala. I copied everything, my heart pounding as security guards patrolled nearby. Back in Seattle, Mia used the data to crack the burner phone, confirming Carlton's payments to the ghost. With the evidence in hand, I confronted Rachel at Nexus. The breaches weren't my fault, I said, sliding a USB drive across her desk. Victor Carlton orchestrated them to tank my firm and boost CyberShield. Here's proof. Emails, payments, call logs. Rachel's eyes narrowed as she reviewed the files. If this holds up, Carlton's finished. But Claire, you've got balls. We're keeping you on, double the contract. I exhaled, relief flooding me. Back at Ava's, I threw a small celebration with Nora and Liam, toasting to survival. But the real victory came a week later when I hosted my own gala at my penthouse. I'd moved back, my servers and mementos restored, my locks still impenetrable. Friends, clients, and neighbors filled the rooftop deck, the city sparkling below. My parents arrived, subdued but present, with a gift, a framed blueprint of my penthouse inscribed, Claire Donovan built on grit. Eleanor and Nathan came too, tentative but trying. Eleanor hugged me, whispering, I'm proud of you. For the first time, I believed her. 3 months later, she enrolled in a tech boot camp, chasing her own dreams. My parents started therapy, grappling with their favoritism, and Carlton? His fund collapsed after Mia leaked the evidence to the SEC. As I stood on my deck that night, glass of wine in hand, I realized I'd done more than save my firm. I'd rewritten my family's story, forcing them to see me not as a resource, but as Claire Donovan, the woman who built a fortress and defended it. The threats, the betrayal, the fear, they'd shaped me, but they hadn't broken me, and that was worth celebrating. What would you do if your family turned your home into a battleground? Share below and let me know where you're reading from. If you've fought for your space, hit that like button. Subscribe for more, because this story's not over. Thanks for being here. Your life, your rules.